Okay, good afternoon. It is a little after, what, 12:35 on Wednesday, March 12th, 2025, and this is a special meeting of the Sandpoint Sustainability Committee. It's now called to order in the council chambers at City Hall, 1123 West Lake Street, Sandpoint, Idaho. And for the record, I am Wayne Benner, Chair, and we also have
Deb Dickerson.
And Duke.
And
I'm Katie
Christy
Keeney.
Bloom.
yeah, I got everybody, so okay.
Katie Keeney, staff liaison.
Or Clerk Smith.
Okay, then at this time, is that somebody else?
Oh, they're bringing us lunch.
Okay, at this time, I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes from our last February 25th, 2025 meeting.
Motion to approve the meetings.
Okay,
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, the motion has passed.
You know what? In the meeting notes, it says March 11th, March 12th.
That's probably.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. Oh, sorry, I'm wrong. Forget it. Okay.
Thank you, Sam. It was happening too fast. My brain was like, I can't.
Okay, we'll go on to old business, and next we will take up the old business. With the definition of sustainability for the comprehensive plan. And I don't know whether everybody had a chance to look at really what's in the comprehensive plan and definitions for sustainability. And the definition that we came up with. And I would say this definition in the comprehensive plan as it stands today is okay, except I think there's some additions that might be added to it. Where we're talking about social, I'd like adding environmental and economic development. And then the last statement, stewardship of resources, physically and responsible outcomes relative to community and natural environments.
That's good.
Didn't we approve a definition to,
We did approve one, but there was still some discussion on whether that was the one we wanted to send to the city council.
okay,
Use the one that's there,
all right.
but this city some minor recommendations.
Was that an addition that you just had, the stewardship of resources? I really like that. I mean, because.
No, it's in there.
What's in there?
Oh, it is in there.
Yeah. The original one reads, continuing process of social and economic development which meets the needs of the present generation without compromising the needs and aspirations of future generations based on principles that assure good stewardship of resources and responsible outcomes relative to the built and natural environments.
So you want to add a continuing process of social
Economical
and environmental development, and that's it.
and then at the bottom down, stewardship of resources. Put in there physically and,
Huh?
stewardship of
Physically?
resources and responsible outcomes relative to community and natural environments instead of to the built and natural.
Well, so what are you changing built to?
Community,
Hmm.
because it doesn't really talk about community. And when we've been talking about in our definition, basically, we're talking community, social, economical, and environmental.
But we have social. To me, that's community. At the beginning of the statement. I like built because we're in a built environment. So I like having that in there, and in other places where I've done sustainability, the built environment is referenced.
Okay.
Um. Yeah, I'm fine adding community there, but for me, the social, economic. And environmental kind of handles those three things.
Yeah, I just want to lose the fact that there's really three
And then,
key
and then,
components.
and then it does speak to present and future generations. So for me in generation, there's all community there. But if you want to be explicit, fine, but I would keep built in.
Okay, that's fine. I just,
So would it be a continuing process of social, economic and environmental development, which meets the needs of present generations without compromising the needs and aspirations of future generations based on the principles that assure good stewardship of resources and responsible outcomes relative to the community and the built and natural environments.
okay, yeah.
Yay!
That is.
Yeah.
Are we not going to revisit this again?
I love
What?
that.
Yes.
Go ahead. I was just gonna say it needs to be voted.
Uh-huh.
Right, I understand that.
Okay.
Yeah, I get
I
that.
have a grammar police
All
suggestion
right,
that we change, that we change in the first line, the which to a that.
okay,
That's fine. Yeah,
yeah,
that makes more sense, actually.
Mhm.
yep. Anything else? Christine?
No,
Okay,
I,
Okay, I would entertain a motion then that we approve those additions to the sustainability definition within the comp. The 2024 comp.
I motion that we revise or
Revised.
those additions to the vision statement or.
you mean the comprehensive plan
the comprehensive-
definition?
There we go.
Okay, let me give it a go. I move that, we, and this is submitting it to the council, right? So we're approving it and then submitting it, okay,
Yes.
so what do you want to say?
It's not necessarily a motion that council will approve. Everything gets brought to the mayor to see if he wants it added
Oh,
to the
okay.
agenda, and then because there's a lot of work that goes into amending
The comprehensive.
the comprehensive plan.
Okay, so what are we,
That's- You're right.
It just want to make sure everybody understands, like,
It doesn't happen
it
overnight,
doesn't happen
Oh, yeah,
overnight, and
I'm
it
not-
may not happen at all.
ever, right? Okay,
or it may be tabled until such time as they open up the comp plan for other additions.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. If there's nothing on the docket
Yeah.
coming up,
Uh,
doesn't make sense to make an amendment just for
Yeah,
5 other things to pop up in 4 months
right,
that are also going to amend the comp plan.
Right.
okay, so what's the phrasing of this?
The phrasing would be, we would recommend to the city council
Oh, it is a city council, okay, just wanted to check in, okay.
to
Now I,
consider these changes to the definition of sustainability.
okay, so I move that we recommend changes to the sustainability definition in the comprehensive plan as amended by this committee. That's it.
Yeah. And that's the definition that's on page, appendix B, page 13.
Yep,
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, the motion has passed. Okay. Got through one thing already on the agenda. That's great.
I feel like we accomplished something finally.
Mm.
So Wayne, do you have an idea of how to tackle this beast?
For the next part here,
Yeah,
moving on with the comprehensive plan, chapter summaries and their relationship to sustainability using the matrix as provided by Vice Chair. Did everybody get a chance to look at that matrix as it got sent out?
Yep.
Yeah,
I don't think my information got.
And mine
on there.
didn't make it either.
Yeah.
And not so much the information making onto it, but the matrix itself that we can work with.
Yeah,
Okay. And everybody's comfortable with that matrix?
yeah, it looks great. She did a great job. I'm impressed.
yeah.
That took a while. So where do we start?
Well, we can either start it right at the beginning with the Christine's part of it and look at it. Or we can take it, you can take it home and fill in all the blanks. Which is probably the process that should be done because it'll give everybody a chance to really look at it. In the meantime, I think we just kind of start at the very beginning and work through first part to see how it will actually work to use that matrix to review each section of the comprehensive plan and list items that are important to consider decision-making process related to sustainability.
Okay, so a bit of, at least in the first cut, a bit of a priority. Cause we can't recommend all these things, right? That, it won't go anywhere,
Oh, no, no, no. I think
right?
this-
So we begin a prioritization process.
I know a lot of them overlap.
Right,
So when
yes,
when it gets down to it, there'll probably be maybe a half a dozen or
consideration for,
Consideration.
that rise really to the top, like number one, okay.
Yeah. Because I was looking through it and yeah, there's a lot of them that are
Yeah, cross,
cross.
yeah, I saw that too.
I'd like to make a proposal that we think about this as a way to maybe organize or launch into an eventual sustainability plan for the city.
At least from my standpoint, I think that's kind of when you get down to, here's 5 for each one of those sections. That kind of highlights what needs to be looked at in a plan or a program for the city to be considering to make sure that the comprehensive plan is being addressed as intended. Does that make sense?
Yes, that any sustainability plan would necessarily refer back to the comprehensive plan, right? Or be guided, but be in more detail.
If, and this is just, I can be hit by staff here real quick, is that if in fact the city does ultimately put together a sustainability plan, it would be referenced in the comprehensive plan as are the other plans like the transportation plan, all the other plans that
Right,
would be part of guidance for the city.
Right, and this could be very informative. This would launch us, get us part way to getting that plan together.
I think this would give some nice building blocks to build on.
to consider that.
Yeah.
I like the suggestion, Christine. Or are you proposing that as we work through this, we're creating a sustainability plan?
No, not at this point. I mean, I
Okay.
think that's a longer term project. I think we need to refer to the other plans and to refer to plans in other places. And that is a pretty big project, the sustainability plan. But that
Yeah.
just keep this in mind, keep that kind of in mind, that this is going to be maybe a link between the comp plan and the sustainability plan.
Good, I like it.
I guess I'm trying to think about a purpose for this. I can't remember what we said was the purpose.
I think the purpose originally was to have something in place that we could provide to the departments as they're reviewing and coming up with projects to have as a kind of a checklist to say, this has been reviewed, have we checked, we understand this, or no, this doesn't pertain to us, or yes, we need to have more information to consider the project in reference to sustainability.
Uh-huh.
Which would basically be kind of the backbone of an ultimate plan. I think the plan would be more far reaching into the future. This I was looking at is okay. Projects that the city's doing and examples, the sewage treatment plant project that's underway. Having a checklist of certain items that they should be considering to look at really sustainability for that project. As they're going through the design process, through the funding process, through reviews. And I'm just speaking for myself. Go ahead, Christine.
I was just thinking that it could concretize the comp plan. You know, it's like everybody should be referring to the comp plan, and yet it's a vision, it's not concrete. And this could be
Correct.
a way to make it concrete. I guess the other thing that I was thinking about is trying to make it, you know, the acronym SMART, so that it's like doable,
Oh,
actionable.
I guess we go through this, we want to develop SMART goal. I mean, I can get after we go through this and we have the 5 to 10 top priorities, then we may develop some SMART goals. Does everybody know what SMART is?
No,
Let me see if I can remember the acronym. I teach on it. Can't remember. It's actionable. Yeah, we can look it up. Amazing how many times I've talked about SMART.
Specific, actionable.
Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound, a framework used for effective goal setting.
So I'm not sure what you're recommending with the SMART goals, Christine.
Well, just that once we get to goal setting, we keep that in mind.
Oh, yeah. Yep, otherwise it's not a goal.
So at the moment, we're going into the matrix and we're gonna pull out priorities or themes, or
I think if we go through that, we're gonna realize after about 2 of them, there's a lot of similarity that we can maybe have to reword 1 or 2, but narrow them down to just where we have a few to look at. Because I mean, people have taken all the goals or all the parts there and talked about sustainability in pretty much each process. And a lot of them overlap.
So,
even with the consolidation that she did.
oh, yeah, yeah, because each person did their questions for each chapter standing on its own.
Yeah.
Right.
So maybe what we could do here, I'm sorry, I'm grappling with how we're gonna go through
No, go
95 items,
Go
right?
ahead, go ahead.
So maybe the next step in this process is to find those similar ones and then know what chapters they're in or something like that, like another kind of cross matrix. I don't know. So as we go through this, oh, well, oh, look, I just remember that was in chapter 1 and now it's this, a similar question is in chapter 9 or something like that. Cause then that'll help us maybe rise a little bit to the priorities. I don't know. I mean,
So she grouped them in like city administration and external communications. I mean, maybe we just start looking at each question. I don't know.
well, we have to look at each question, but then how are we gonna prioritize it? That's,
Yeah,
that's where I'm struggling right now. That we end up with something, like Christine said, actionable.
because I know a lot of them, a lot of the comments that I was reading through that get down almost more into details. And I think that we're still kind of hovering up above, looking at the overall picture, not really specifics.
Oh, these are very specific for some people. I think I don't have that many questions. I stayed at a higher level. So maybe we run through them and eliminate ones.
We could do that.
I'm just trying to
Yeah,
get
no,
to
we
where.
could do that right now. Start. Go ahead, start, see which ones we can eliminate as we go through.
Okay, so number 3, has Sandpoint established an Office of Sustainability? And this is on chapter 1, so I'll also call out the chapter.
At this stage, no.
Why does it say yes?
It says yes.
Yeah,
Somebody marked it, yes.
Where are you seeing the yes?
the X,
Put the X on it?
No,
No,
I
it's just
thought that
that
would,
would-
no, that's where it would reside.
that's, I think exactly it, yeah.
Yeah, so what she said here, so maybe we need to review. So the questions matrix worksheet contains raw questions as submitted by committee members. Each question can be applicable to multiple thematic categories. So she made up the categories. Not a bad thing. Katrina included comments on cells where the link to the committee definition of sustainability was unclear. This is, anyway, so it's just where she thought it resided in the city. At least that's how
And that's
Read it.
exactly how I
Okay.
was reading it, too,
Okay.
yeah.
it's hard not having the person here.
So-
But
So
that,
do we want to look at the consolidated questions instead of going through each individual?
So that's the next section where she went through. And then the theme is city administration and all the questions that apply to that. And then external communication and energy sources. It's not really tied directly to the comp plan. In organization, it's categories.
yeah,
or
categories, yeah.
or themes, as she calls them. And then. So. What I don't understand is she repeats the themes. So administration, city administration is mentioned multiple times and I don't understand what the breaks. But I understood it. They're similar into one question. So she did do some consolidated
Yeah,
questions.
she did the consolidated. I thought that was the whole point of her doing the matrix for us, so that we could just look at the consolidated questions, not have to look at every single question.
And so that starts on page 13 in our agenda packet. But city administration is listed multiple times as are other areas. So then on page 15, she goes back to city administration again. So that's where I'm a bit lost in the way that this is organized.
Well, the
Well, I think-
consolidation, the consolidated questions, that's very straightforward. It's all sectioned off. City administration, and then she has external communications, energy source, lighting, green, open.
No, but city administration, if you scroll down to where the consolidated questions are, city administration is listed multiple times, and I don't understand why city administration is listed as our other themes listed multiple times. So I'm trying to understand
Oh,
what the breaks are.
I only see it once.
Oh, on the top of page 15, the top of page 16,
Sure.
I'm looking at the.
Are we
I'm
looking
looking-
at the same thing? Because I'm looking
Keep
at an
scrolling.
Excel file.
There's only one page.
Okay, so I'm looking at the agenda packet.
Okay, I don't
That's
have
what-
that up.
You don't have the agenda packet. Okay, well, okay, good. Now we got that straight. Why we're not talking the same language.
I'm looking at what was sent out.
And that's what I have that I'm
It's on the
sharing.
page, yeah.
Yeah, but if you scroll, so I'm in the agenda packet. If you
That's,
scroll down, can you scroll and get to the consolidated questions? That's what seems to be missing. Yeah, that's it.
There you go.
That's the second.
That's what I was.
So city administration is listed at the top on multiple pages, and I don't understand what the breaks are. Because she goes through, so, okay, I'll give a specific example. So on page 13 is where the section starts, and it starts with city administration. There's a lot of those. And external communication, energy sources, a bunch of themes. And then on page 15, it starts over again with city administration, forestry, recreation, et cetera. And then on page 16, it starts with city administration, waste management, pesticides. So is this by chapter? That's what I'm not following.
I'm thinking that it's just all of the it's all of the chapters mixed together. And it's just, everything is under city administration. I'm only seeing one page.
I'm lost with that. I don't,
Does everybody else, I mean, this,
I have a 20-page agenda packet. And the consolidated packet and the consolidated questions start on page 13. Do you get my question or my,
I get what you're coming from. We had an Excel sheet that I converted to a PDF that was given to us, so I'm going to look in my email really quick
Okay.
and open the Excel sheet
okay,
and see if, because I tried to convert it to the best of.
I
my-
understand.
No,
I totally get that.
but I'm wondering if
Something got lost in translation.
something didn't carry over like it was supposed to, because some of the like cells from the Excel sheet, I had to adjust because I
I got
noticed
it.
it was like cutting
Yeah.
things off
Yeah.
and,
Question.
which is very
Consolidate
odd.
those into
Um,
similar in one question. Categorized. Do you see what I'm talking about, Wayne? In the,
And I think from my standpoint, I was looking at, that was almost like, those are the areas or the departments that should be responsible for those.
yeah, but it starts with city administration and it goes through a number of themes.
Yeah.
And then it starts over again with city administration and goes through a number of themes. So I'm trying to understand.
I see where you're at, yeah.
That's where I'm confused. I don't understand. Why isn't everything listed under city administration in one big block instead of being separated out? So there may be some logic. Maybe there's some headers in there that didn't come over.
that just looks like one page, right? That what you're looking at now?
Well, she's in the original document now. We didn't get the original document. We got a PDF.
Oh.
well, because you can't, an Excel sheet
Yeah.
doesn't.
I understand that.
So,
Well, it's
yeah,
in
I
there.
don't
It's in the repository.
know what happened, but so this is what it looks like. And so it just, because they're all tabs.
Mhm.
And so I just converted them
Okay.
into just a
Yeah,
multi-page
see, it doesn't-
PDF.
Yeah,
And so it just has city administration on here
Right.
one time,
Mhm.
and you scroll
keep scrolling. Keep
and
going, keep
that's
going,
it.
keep going. Keep
That's all I
going.
see.
Yeah,
Wait,
it doesn't
Wait,
have.
Go back, wait, go back up. Go up. Interesting. So something did happen.
Yeah,
Okay,
sorry,
So there
guys,
is
I
no-
didn't,
that's okay. Well, you didn't have to. We discovered it, which is
well,
kind
and
of,
it makes sense like on the, like, page 14, because it's rolling over from 13, for it to show it up here at the top. Jump back to the meeting packet here.
yeah, but there's other themes in the middle before it goes back to city administration. So I was just trying to see. if there was
Yeah,
any
I
logic,
think
That's all.
on page 15, it shouldn't have had city administration and it should have kept green open spaces.
Oh.
It should have been green open spaces up
Okay,
here
Good, I got it.
because
Thank you.
policy to preserve and protect open
Okay.
space.
Okay,
And then, so for this, construction should have rolled over to this.
Okay.
It's just how it
I got it.
unfortunately
Converted. Okay,
converted because I was trying to keep this, the nice pretty purple box at the top to tell us what we're looking at.
okay.
On
It's
all of
fine.
the-
I got it. All right. So it's in the, okay, sorry.
No, it's not your fault. I'm the one that made it.
Well, thanks for figuring it out.
Yeah. Feel bad I didn't notice it beforehand.
Okay. All right. So we're just gonna run through it by theme?
Sure. Start at page
Mhm.
13.
Yeah. But it looks like every question, I guess the consolidation that she's saying that she did, sorry, Shane, saying that she did, swear I need alcohol today, is that she consolidated it by theme. However, questions would be repeated if they were in different themes.
Right. Yeah, because it, for example, does Sandpoint, in city administration, does Sandpoint have an effective method of communicating? Also appears in external communication.
Communications, right? Hmm. So we're still left with prioritization. We have a lot of data. How do we make it into information?
Yeah, the spreadsheet almost adds to the, I don't say confusion necessarily, but
Well, I don't know.
complexity of it.
Yeah. I mean, I would just start with I would start with the way that she has it consolidated, city administration, and pick out the most important points here. And then I'd go under each title that she has, because I think those titles are good. And then just pick out what you think are the most important. You said start eliminating stuff that we either.
We
can't
have to
do anything.
eliminate. That's the, okay, so that's the first.
Start on the
We
elimination.
have to start eliminating, period. Are you in with that, Christine, elimination?
Yeah, I guess we can proceed and see how hard it is to do. I mean, so pick out the 5 top in each one and then see, can we eliminate all the rest? Or I don't know how to.
I think elimination may be easier to start than try and prioritize 95 different items across. However, 10, I don't know how many dozen themes.
Well,
Uh-huh.
just to throw one out real
Mhm.
quick. Does Sandpoint have a dark skies lighting code that is implemented and enforced? Yes, they already do.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah, so that's eliminated. Okay. So,
Yeah.
Are, who, are you guys taking notes to do this, or do we need to?
I'm taking notes, but if you guys want to keep track.
Okay, so we just eliminated 8. So we can go through each, okay, I like this, okay. So now we can start with 3. Has Sandpoint established an office of sustainability? So we're not ranking it right now. The answer is no, it stays. That how we're doing it? If we know that it already exists, at least that's an easy elimination. And then if it's too detailed, we may eliminate it.
Okay.
All right,
It's a second round.
as a second round, okay. Does Sandpoint have a comprehensive environmental and sustainability plan?
No.
No. Does Sandpoint have an effective method of communicating sustainability policies to employees and residents? No. No?
No.
Has Sandpoint mandated energy reduction and with stated goals and timetables? No. Is that too detailed at this point?
It might be. Because now you're getting down into this.
Yeah, we're getting down into the weeds
Yeah.
a little bit there at that question. Thoughts?
I guess we maybe have a more general item related to that. I mean, I know one of the things that the McCall people have done is they've done and they advocate doing a greenhouse gas inventory as one of the first things the city does.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right, we'll leave it in. Has Sandpoint utilized or invested in sustainability energy sources such as solar, wind, and geothermal systems? Can 6 and 7 be combined in some way?
Yeah, I would think.
Okay, so then we're gonna have some combos. All right, 8, we already eliminated. That was with the dark skies. Does Sandpoint have a plan for balancing recreational use of green spaces and environmental protection and stewardship? Hmm,
I'd say at this stage, probably not specifically.
Okay. So that's no. Does Sandpoint encourage construction of green building projects? No. There's no green building, okay. Does Sandpoint have a policy to preserve and protect open space? That would be in the Parks and Rec plan, right?
Yeah.
So that's a yes. Can we eliminate that? We may not like it.
Up to you guys.
I know.
Oh, sorry, I guess it's just, we're like right here,
Yeah,
so I'm
got
like.
it. I just looked up and looking at you.
Well, your input actually is appreciated too.
Especially if you know an answer.
Yeah.
Like if you know that that's kind of been handled, even though we may not like what they did. But
Yeah.
does Sandpoint, it's just asking a yes or no question. Does Sandpoint have a plan to protect open space? And I would say yes,
They do, it's in
Yeah.
our city code.
Yeah.
right? So we can eliminate. Which one was I reading? I lost my.
8 or
place.
9?
No, I already, balancing use of green spaces, green building projects. There it is, 11. Wow, how easy it is to get lost. Does Sandpoint encourage the upgrading of grass playing fields over the installation of synthetic turf fields and prohibit the use of recycled crumb rubber on playgrounds? That's way too. We agree to that?
Yeah, that's really specific.
I get the heart behind it.
Mhm.
And we've been through that debate many times. Does Sandpoint operate a municipal composting facility? No. Does Sandpoint provide space for community gardens? Yes. Eliminate 14. May not be enough, but they do allow it and support it. Does Sandpoint have an effective recycling program that is fully embraced by the community?
No.
No.
No, but it is kind of in the works.
It's
It's in process.
It's in process.
Yeah.
Pam is spearheading it.
Mhm.
On plastic.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're
Well-
talking, this is recycling program, how big, what's recycling?
Well, and we do have waste management that does pick up personal recyclables. Now, whether or not people
But it's not
participate,
Sandpoint.
it's not Sandpoint, the city. You're right.
Yeah, that's what we're.
You're right. I got it. Never
Yeah.
mind. All right, so 15 stays in. Does Sandpoint provide curbside pickup of garden waste for residents? No. Is that too weedy?
Well, it does branches. I don't know.
Don't we do branches and
You
leaves?
do branches and leaves?
Yeah, leaves and branches.
They don't do like grass clippings though.
No.
No,
I do.
So what do we want to do? Is that illumination or do we keep it?
I think we should keep it.
Keep it. Okay. The
no.
Sam-
I'm
Oh, all right,
wondering
go
if-
ahead, Chris.
Well, I was just thinking if, like, I think we could revisit the no's and try to consolidate them into something more general later on.
This is the first run through. The
Yeah.
next time we'll go through and say, okay, this fits with this or not, or give it, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so this is just clear eliminate. I like that. So this is clear elimination, and then we'll go back and we're gonna do numerous run throughs. Yes, yeah.
What page are you on?
Oh, I'm on the top, well, this is the agenda packet.
Yeah.
So I'm at toward the bottom of page 7. So we're still on the first page and I'm on item,
Okay, that's what I
Um,
thought.
yeah, 16, so now I'm going to 17. Does Sandpoint provide convenient toxics collections, including prescription drugs? No. Is that too specific?
I mean,
I think that's important.
yeah, the city doesn't. I guess I think that is too specific, but again, it could be collapsed with something else.
Okay, what
Or
if,
it's something that the city could be encouraging as part of a future plan.
well,
Because
so, I'm sorry. go
The
ahead.
city's not gonna get into that business according to the solid waste people. Excuse me, sewage people.
Waste
Yeah.
man. Oh, okay.
Way too expensive and too complicated.
Well, so to me, 15, 16, and 17 are kind of dealing with recycling and safe recycling and collections of things, so maybe we can combine them in some way.
What I was,
So 15, 16, and 17 will somehow combine. Okay. Does Sandpoint encourage green renovation projects? No, but I'm not quite sure what that is. Does anybody have an idea of what green renovation is?
I think it
So
would
we
be,
would. Go ahead.
if- I think it would be if someone is rehabbing a building, would there be some encouragement for doing it in a green way?
Okay, so we'll leave it in because we're not sure, although that seems very specific, but, okay.
Yeah.
19, does Sandpoint actively encourage adaptive reuse over virgin development?
I mean, I think so. There's,
I call that infill. One level, I call that infill. So empty lots get developed,
which is virgin development,
that you consider that's virgin, okay.
because it's, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
Brand new. Whereas reuse would be taking the 9th grade center and it was redeveloped,
Okay,
you know,
So we-
rather than tearing it down like they did the school.
okay,
that's how I was looking at it too.
Yeah.
all right, so 19 is eliminate, like, that's a yes, so we eliminate it?
I mean, if you want, I think they do, because, I mean, me as a planner, and I'm not trying to
No,
push
but
you
you're
guys or
letting us,
anything,
you,
but when somebody comes to us and they're like, hey, we have this building and this is our idea for it within our code structure, like, go,
yeah,
you know,
Instead of-
and the building department is the same.
I got it.
Obviously, building is not stricter necessarily, like planning follows city code, building follows building code, which is countrywide.
Right.
So, and so there are standards for everything, but
But the
it's
city,
definitely,
the city would rather see you reuse than tear down.
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, especially
like
in
the
the
Gardenia Center.
yeah,
Yeah.
especially in like the downtown court, Bellwoods building.
Yeah.
100%.
The Hardwood Center.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
okay,
so,
all right, so we can eliminate that. And that was 19. Ooh, you're making progress. All right. Does Sandpoint have an urban forestry plan?
Yes.
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 That's, okay. The Sandpoint development standards and design guidelines have sustainability mandates.
that's a good question.
I don't think they have mandates.
Yeah, there's not mandates because it's design guidelines falls under your planning and zoning. And you run into when you're mandating design,
Mm-hmm. That's
so it's similar to like First Amendment
great.
and telling people, like, we can say, hey, we like the way this looks. We really want it to look this way, and 98% of the time, anybody that's doing anything is like, cool, whatever's gonna make the process easier. But you have it's kind of a sticky area when you start mandating that all buildings have to be brick and all buildings have to
Yeah,
have this.
yeah.
You know, there's certain guidelines for fenestrations and stuff like that, but that goes back to like safety. You know, having X amount of windows on the side of a building
Mhm.
is for safety.
But I think
So,
that probably should be kept in there to review a second time around.
Yep. 22, what is our city policy to preserve and protect open space? How is the protection of open space supported by our zoning code? How is open space being incorporated into new residential areas, including areas with multifamily development?
so it is in the code and it
It
is
is,
something that
yeah.
we can definitely.
Yep.
If you guys would like, someone can ask me to give notes about at the next meeting.
Okay,
Maybe not we have a meeting next week,
no, not
that-
next week.
the week
No,
after.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Okay, I might be
Does
able
that
to.
one- Does
McCall's
that one
coming.
overlap with the previous one that says, does Sandpoint have a policy to preserve and protect open space?
I think I mean, here again, you got the overlap, yes.
And
But-
we said that it does, because we eliminated, good catch, because we eliminated that one. Because we said, yes, it does. That's 11.
Mhm.
So are we satisfied as the sustainability committee that we can say yes to 22? And that's eliminated then.
If you guys, yeah, if you guys don't want to address it, then eliminate it. I can say it's in the code, I can't.
But should it be in the code? That's the other question. You know, we're eliminating it, but shouldn't, say for coming plan, should that be part of what we should be looking at?
Yeah.
For the future of the city?
But it is in the code.
It is in the code.
It
It is in the
Or should
code.
we revisit that, how it is in the code?
Right.
And I'm,
Well, but the thing is, so here's where I'm at. This is already a big job. And if we're gonna start revisiting things that are already in code, I would rather, unless something is like right at the top of the list, I don't know.
and I should take off my planning hat maybe because I'm coming from the planning side of things that, city's open space is great. We'll leave this over here to put your dumpsters. That's open space now, kind of. And, you know, to me, it's not creating real open space, really useful. But anyway, that's something that I think the planning commission is going to be looking at anyway in our code revisions coming up.
Likely.
So in or out?
Out at this time, so we can. move
Okay.
forward.
All right,
I
all
think
right.
you'll see it pop up more.
Yeah. All right, so 23, what is our tree protection and planting policy? How is the protection and planting of trees supported by our zoning code and city programs? What about forestry habitat and riparian corridors? How are heritage trees being protected, neighborhood tree canopies, trees for shading and cooling?
That's in
It's all forestry.
forestry code or in the,
Urban.
Urban.
Yeah,
It's
in that, our urban forestry plan. Okay, because we could go revisit that too, right? But we're not going to. So 23 is eliminated. Okay, we're not doing too bad here. We're not quite, yeah, we're probably half between combos and elimination. Starts to become workable. What are city policies concerning the use of herbicides and pesticides? That's a good one. City property, including public parks and right of ways. What type of training do city workers receive concerning purchase and use of herbicides and pesticides? What notice does the public receive if herbicides and pesticides are used in city property? Do we know, I don't know anything about that. I know I've seen it when they use the weed control and it's like, oh, that's right by water, but I don't know if it's safe or not.
I know there
No,
was
we just-
recently a controversy over, I think it's Memorial Field. Uh, and so I don't know how then, but it seems like this one could be, really consolidated. Like
Well,
the
the city
city,
has been, the city's been advised from the county. Let's see, weed control program the county has. They abide by those rules and regulations.
That the county instills.
Yes, because they had quite a
Discussion about it.
discussion here, yeah, city
Okay.
council, yeah. But does that mean that they're still not using herbicides and that type? Not sure. They
So
did-
let's leave it in for now.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I think we could maybe do a combo between 24 and 25 and raise it up a level. Because 25, I'll read, what is our city policy related to the management of non-native species, invasive species, not just weeds? How are the policies supported by the zoning code and what is the enforcement? To me, those go hand in hand, right? Because if you're trying to manage it and then you have herbicide, like that, we can consolidate those two.
And I think some of that's in the urban forestry.
It might be.
If I remember.
Yeah.
I mean, just finding out that information and how do they communicate it? Because I've always tried to find out that kind of information about where they're spraying and when, and there doesn't seem to be a consolidated communication effort to get that information out. I've swam in areas where they just sprayed herbicide, and I would have liked to have known there were no postings or anything. So I think the communication is important.
Yeah, I agree. I've gone down Sand Creek path and
Yeah,
it
so I
went
think,
from green to brown.
yeah, so I think what I'm thinking is, even though we're saying, okay, yes, there is a schedule. Maybe we should look into it, just.
Well, we're leaving it on. We're leaving it on, yeah.
Basically. Vegetation management.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Because, I mean, this does talk about, and one of the things that I think.
yeah, so that's good.
Bringing native plants in because. Foreign plants, you go to every store here, they bring.
Oh, they
foreign
bring in
plants.
all kinds of garbage,
Not native.
invasive and all kinds of stuff. All right, 26. So I have 24 and 25 as a combo into a higher thing and you suggested
Yeah.
vegetation management. Anything else, Christine?
no, I think that's a good, consolidation.
Okay. 26, what sustainability factors were considered when the city opted to install synthetic turf instead of, this is the same one we already did. I don't remember what number it was, but we said it's been done and dusted. Yes, 26 is eliminated.
But that's gonna come back up again for.
I understand. Other people are already dealing with it. Is sustainability a consideration when purchasing or using vehicles or equipment for construction and maintenance of city property or performance of city services? How is sustainability considered when hiring contractors for construction and maintenance of city property?
Is there a move toward hybrid vehicles or low em-
Low emissions. Low
low
emissions.
emission? Yeah, is that in the city policy?
That one, I don't know.
Well, so there's an earlier one about greenhouse gases. And
Yeah.
something like that could be comboed in with that, but this is what's hard is going back and finding those.
Yeah, I do know that they only have 2 chargers in town, which I think.
It's right
is-
there by the
It's by the
park over there with the.
water fountain.
Yeah, the
Water
water fountain.
which is
Jackson.
not.
Yeah,
I
the
mean,
city would
so
have
if
to,
if we're encouraging it, they would have more chargers. That's my point.
where is that?
Yes, but also on the other end of it, they're expensive to purchase. In the downtown corridor, everything is commercial. You're not required to have parking downtown. You're not required when you do any type of construction to create
Parking
Parking
spaces. yeah.
spaces unless you're doing a large scale over
Like the hospital, when they did the hospital. extension.
yeah, you know, or the Taboo Hotel down at the beach. But they're required to install parking. What type of parking is up to them, because I mean, if they, and I, you know, new hotels, it would make sense for them to install charging stations. But then are they only open to the people using
The hotel.
the hotel? And then are people going to be mad when a business installs them and only says it's for their
Mhm,
people?
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so if the city installs them, where's the city gonna get money to install public charging stations on public property?
Yeah.
That's it's like, cause I did bring this up to Jason, I was like, why is there? And he's like, because they decided those 2 charging stations, somebody helped pay for them.
Well, there were grants and stuff to charging
Yeah,
stations.
Yeah, but it went hand in hand with the solar pads,
Right.
the solar road,
Right,
you know?
yeah.
It was all together, but it's a great idea,
Yeah.
but how do you get there?
Is there
So-
any consideration for the revamping of the new downtown parking lot of having any stalls there be recharging stations?
I think that would be a great idea, but again, how do we get the funding for
The
that?
funding, yeah.
If somebody wanted to put the time and effort into finding the grant and applying for the grant, you know what I mean? There's a lot that goes into grant funding.
Yeah,
And then it
there's
would probably just be a charging station for Pachava, so.
Well,
I mean.
why aren't we talking about hydrogen filling stations too?
Yeah. 100%.
Because that's gonna take over the electric pursuits. I hope.
So my interpretation of this item that we're on is that, does the city have a plan for replacing vehicles with more sustainable vehicles? Its own vehicles, the city's vehicles.
Yep,
Yeah, and that's a good question. I don't know if they do.
I don't know if they necessarily do, but I think it would go hand in hand with when a new vehicle is needed. The market right now, you can't go look at a vehicle past 2020, from 2020 to current, they're all at least electric, like add-on, you know? Hybrid, there we go. Thank you. And I'm like, there's a word. You know what I mean? And so as that happens, it's just going to be part of the process. Like, you're not going to have the choice of, because there's no price difference in hybrid vehicles anymore versus gas only. Whereas 15 years ago, hybrid versus gas, there was a significant price difference because of the technology advancements in hybrid.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Whereas now, and you know, the Chargers example, in say 4 years, they need 2 new cruisers. That's going to be the only option, because you're not gonna wanna buy a 15-year-old cruiser.
Mhm.
So it's,
So let the market take care of it.
So eliminating? Or leaving in?
I think it should be left in. I'm not sure
Okay.
in this way, but I think that is ensure the
So-
city stays focused on,
So
Thank you.
rewrite 27.
Yeah.
Third category. All right. 28, the Sandpoint operate a municipal composting facility. We already answered this one. It is with 13, so 13 and when I go look for the other question and I lose my place. So 13 and 28 deal with source. Is that good? Okay,
Yeah,
and that one's gonna become probably more prevalent as issues become with the disposal of the sludge at the sewage treatment plant. If Woods decides sometime to get out of the business of farming and there's no, they're gonna have to be looking for other markets, and composting, it's gonna be a
great.
huge process.
Okay, so 29, is there demand for more city-sponsored community gardens? Are there opportunities to create tool co-ops, training, and other programs to encourage local residents in community garden? Is that too specific?
I think so.
Not that I don't like it, but
Very specific at this stage, yeah.
so do we
Yeah.
want to eliminate it for now? What do you want to do with it?
Actually, I think that almost gets combined with.
We eliminated,
Limited the garden, didn't we?
we eliminated the other community garden option. So we're eliminating it for
Yeah,
now?
this-
Okay.
this-
How is Sandpoint walkability promoted in policies and zoning when the core of the town and the expanding areas are residential and commercial growth?
well, I think that is really important.
Can I reframe that question? Because that's a how question. Most of these have been yes or no. Rephrase it. So does Sandpoint promote walkability and policies and zoning within the core? So then it's more of a yes or no question.
Yeah,
So that would,
They are trying, but I don't think they're doing.
it's hard.
That's kind of what's promoted in the
And that, but they
downtown
have a
code
plan.
In the
because
down-
of
But
the lack of parking that's required, so then you have to park and walk.
But don't we have a multimodal transportation plan? I mean, isn't that
Yeah,
part of that or no?
It's,
sort of.
it is, but cars here again are the focal point, not.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah, it's-
walkability.
Oh, I'm,
It's access for vehicles.
We should be doing, we should be, instead of putting parking lots in the center of town, we should put them on the outskirts, so then, and then have a promenade down First Avenue. and
yeah, but
people-
then you run into the families with the kids and unloading stuff. I mean, there's always gonna be that.
There's always going to be that though.
Right,
Like
tension.
you go to
You're
downtown Coeur d'Alene. And good luck finding parking anywhere close to downtown
Right,
in the summertime.
yeah,
Like they very much have promoted walking. They have a few parking lots, they're all paid for, and they're full by 10 o'clock.
Yep.
And you're parking in the residential areas and you're walking 4 blocks to get to the beach.
yeah. Well, that's in New Jersey. I grew up in New Jersey and you're walking many blocks.
You know,
Yeah.
it just,
And they have studies that when you close down the streets like that, businesses actually do better.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because people are
Yeah.
walking.
We
Sure.
talked about.
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
yes.
So,
I mean, I think if you have far out, or not far out, but if you have more remote parking lots, you try to build up maybe the spot bus.
Mhm.
No, I think that needs to be left.
That
there because
stays
it
in.
Stays in,
Yeah.
because it's. For the
Yeah.
future, it's extremely important.
Yeah,
okay. How is Sandpoint, so this is another how, oh, but we want to rewrite that, right?
I
Yeah.
would say 30 and 31 both need to be rewritten and
Yeah.
possibly combined,
I-
because I think bikeability and walkability,
Or, yeah,
the
they're
same
the
thing.
same.
they're one and, they're
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, so they're gonna
I
get
don't
rewritten,
bike.
so we're gonna combine them. Yeah, no, thank you. So we're gonna combine them. And as part of combining, they'll get rewritten. Okay, great.
Oh,
So-
there is a pet bike committee. And that's what Sam was just saying,
Okay.
those actually might be better suited for ped bike versus sustainability, because sustainability is more go green, right? Type of things.
Well,
But
it does,
I think
I get your point, but I would say walkability and biking and stuff is definitely makes this, when we encourage it
Mhm.
and have safe ways through the city, particularly on bikes. I ride my bike, not in the rain. But anyway, yeah. So we're gonna combine 30 and 31?
Yeah.
Okay,
And reword them.
and reword them. Well, and here, yeah. Okay, 32, how is sustainability be considered in the reclamation and reuse of brownfields within the city limits?
I don't even know what that means.
So there's an area that came up in my section. There are brownfields that the city monitors. Like, I'd have to go look at the plan. I can't remember. It's a new concept for me. I'm not saying I understand it 100%, but it's kind of like desecrated land.
Oh, yeah, I.
Yeah, I figured you would know.
So
Yeah.
the site there, the Jocelyn site.
Yeah.
That's a brownfield.
That's a brownfield.
Yeah.
Jocelyn,
Okay.
so it's out there at the, Bay Trail,
Mhm.
Right,
those projects, yeah.
yeah, but that's Ponderay. Right, isn't Pond, that's Ponderay,
That's on the rate
Yeah.
doing that, but that's, yeah.
but it's a brown, it's a really bad brown site.
Oh, so they can, so if people don't do anything with the land, they can reclaim it?
No,
Is that-
it's the brown site. You can't do anything.
You can't do
with it.
anything with it.
So the Jocelyn Manufacturing, it's right there across, or right before the train tracks on Boyer on the left, heading north.
They just
right?
planted
They-
trees in there for the first time.
Well,
No,
no. The state planted trees, but they are buried. They're special trees. I went and talked to them last summer.
I was wondering what's going on
They're
there.
buried 30 feet in the ground. They went and punched holes so that they drink that groundwater.
Yeah.
So it's not going into our water treatment plant and then using up more resources by the city.
Right.
Obviously, they can't get all of it,
Right.
but they're supposed to pull like 80% of that groundwater
Really?
to
Oh,
those
wow.
trees so that that's less contamination
Makes
going
sense.
into the city's
they're.
water
Well
treatment.
designed,
I'm
special
impressed.
designed trees.
Mhm. They're
Wow.
special, they're not like special trees, they're trees that
Well, they've
drink a
been-
lot of
yeah.
water. And the way those rock
Yeah.
mounds are,
Okay.
that's the point of the rock mounds, so that the
It
water
reduces
goes
the drainage.
onto
Yeah,
the trees
yeah.
Oh,
versus,
Okay,
so then anything that comes
Sweet.
through the ground goes into their roots and but it was funny to see the trees laying out there because I'm like, there's this much of a top of a tree and then the rest
the
of the tree
roots
is,
is like,
well, it's not even the roots, it's the base of the
Right.
tree that's like 30 feet tall and
wow.
a bundle of roots. I'm like, what is this? What are you guys doing out here? And I was like, and they're like, actually, it's the state.
Modified.
It's the state. It's
Well,
So
I'm nosy.
smart.
That's great. That's awesome. Cause I was wondering, I'm like, I thought that was a place where we didn't do anything with.
Yeah, you are not allowed to, you can't grow vegetables. Anything
Yeah.
that could potentially contaminate
Oh.
human.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were like, we can't even have a park here because,
Mhm.
yeah, it's,
You could asphalt over it. That's all
you can make it a
do.
parking lot.
Yeah, not just,
Oh,
yeah,
there you go. There's our-
yeah.
But
And
the city said not to,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so.
okay, so.
guys-
goal- Yep,
I was just gonna say, we are getting down to kind of the
yeah, I
end of
was
the
just,
meeting, and I did want to preview our visitor at our next meeting.
Okay, I guess this is a good spot to stop then, you guys.
Yeah.
yeah, so
It's
we're
at
at
the
the top of page 9.
Yeah.
We did 2 pages.
Yeah, no,
We didn't quite, we made it a third of the way through.
Yay.
Yay. Okay. Before we move on to that, Christine, so what are we doing with the things that we noted? Like, how are we editing the document? Are we just gonna complete going all the way through it
Let's
and
go
then we'll,
all the
okay.
way through, because
All
then
right.
we'll go back through.
Okay.
Some of what we took out may be prevalent after we go through
Okay.
and look at other ones and,
Okay, I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
All right. Great.
Good.
okay,
so
Christine,
this is gonna be another old business item on the next meeting,
probably,
next couple of meetings.
yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Okay,
But
I
not the
just-
next meeting, because we have a guest speaker, which will probably take the whole,
Yeah,
whole meeting. fact, I'm
Yeah,
sure
just
probably
something
more
to-
than the whole meeting.
Can I,
And there's another item on that agenda also. for
Is the
next week,
Bears.
Is the Bears.
can I throw out another suggestion in dealing with this list? Do we want to create a subcommittee of people who continue this work? Can we do that and then bring it back?
I don't know. I think you guys might be able to. We can talk with Melissa and
Okay,
ask. I
can you
think
check?
if it's 3,
Yeah,
The transportation has subcommittees.
I just think they have to stay small groups. It can't
Right.
be like
2 or 3.
6
it
of you.
can't be, right. Well, then that would be the whole committee. So then we might as well do it at a meeting.
Mhm.
Okay.
So yeah, I think if it's 3
Or less.
or
Okay.
less, then it's allowed. Yeah, can you make a, thank you, Sam. And we'll double check with Melissa.
Okay.
And is it okay if we let them know? And I can ask Melissa, Sam, but if we let them know when we send out the minutes for this.
Because
Like,
my
hey,
concern is
by the
we'll never
way.
finish this.
And then,
Because there's
okay,
always gonna be something else coming
Yeah,
up.
exactly. That's
If-
our, yeah.
if Melissa says it's okay, do you want to decide those subcommittees at the next meeting?
I would say yes, because then that's how we continue the work on this. Because we already know we're not going to get to it the next time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so
It'll be in April, that first.
at
meeting.
least,
Yeah, it'll go faster if we do it in subcommittee.
okay, thanks.
Yeah, subcommittee could probably do it in about an hour.
I don't know about that, but
Sit down with a cup of coffee and.
yeah,
So, okay, Christine, go ahead. You were
Okay,
going to
so
explain about-
the Meredith Todd is she's an assistant city planner and sustainability person for McCall, Idaho. And she is very involved in Idaho in sustainability. Was recommended by ICL as a sustainability warrior and somebody who's been very effective. And I had a conversation with her on the phone at the end of January, and she described how she got into her position there. She's hoping to become full-time sustainability for the city of McCall eventually, but now she's half-time. And she works with 2 organizations. There's one Idaho specific organization with about 20 entities that work together and they write grants together. And I just thought she would be able to help us think about sustainability in the city of Sandpoint. And so she's agreed to come to our next meeting. She'll either be there remotely or she may come up and go skiing. And then she would actually come in person, which would be kind of neat. She's a young gal who has a degree in urban planning. And so she has some academic background in sustainability for her position in McCall. She has her fingers all over the state in sustainability. She's connected to University of Idaho, I think maybe in Boise State, and that's part of how they get their work done in McCall is their master's level projects. So they're basically, they support a student who's doing a project and they do it for the city. So I was just thinking that if she came if she told her story the way she did in the phone conversation and kind of explained where they are in McCall and what they're looking at, she said they're developing a sustainability plan for the city of McCall as part of their comprehensive plan, and it'll be finished, she hopes, by September. So she has resources for that she's just very willing to share and send resources, materials, talk on the phone. I just think if we can kind of imagine what we would like to hear from her in the time that she has with us, I think one of the things we'd like to know is how can Sandpoint get someone like her in the city government as a resource. She said she started out as a city planner And it was invaluable because she learned all the codes, she learned all the resources, she learned everything she needs to know to operate within the McCall environment. And then she started working like 2 hours a week, basically on the side on sustainability. And she gradually worked herself up to being paid for half time. She just has lots of ideas on how to make it work. And I think if we could talk to her a little about that, have her describe that, and also have her maybe talk about resources that we don't know about, and talk about if we wanted to, developing a sustainability plan. What's that like? And, what could she recommend for that? I think we can just learn a lot from her.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so I guess I'm gonna put some materials that I have from her and a little synopsis about her. And there's a little video clip made by Boise State about her and another gal. I'll post a link to that, and I'll send it in, and it can go in the committee's repository. So you can access it before the 25th.
Thank you. And then you said you had another agenda item. What were you saying earlier?
There's a student at the Sandpoint High School that's looking at doing.
Charter.
Or charter school, excuse me. Looking at doing a report on bear issues within Sandpoint or possible issues in the future. And I just thought, not that we'll do anything whatsoever about it, but he's just looking for some support. The committee could just say yay or nay, we do support that kind of project, and we'd love to see the report when it was done. I think it would be something good, because interestingly enough, it won't be long and we probably will have bear issues here.
So he's gonna come,
Yeah,
so he's gonna come and do a presentation?
at this stage.
I don't know, it kind of sounded like it. He was just kind of putting feelers out to
Yeah.
like everybody. It's something he's working on. It's a class project type thing. And so this is part of his, we'll call it a due diligence
Okay,
to reach out, and he thought sustainability would be a good place to reach out, considering people leave trash and stuff like that, and bears eat it, and then they get sick, and what can, if he were to start a program that has like enclosed trash cans that bears can't get into, it just, he wants to discuss it.
okay.
So I think that
But
at this stage, we just support it and let him come prepare whatever he's doing, come back to us.
I'd like to time box it though.
I'm guessing it's probably a class project that's,
Oh, so he's not gonna come and present?
I don't, that's what you guys have to look over everything a little bit more. It's not on this agenda because this was a special meeting. It just got presented right before the last meeting we had, and so everything was already agendized, so it couldn't even be discussed at that point. So now we can agendize it for everybody to discuss and say yay or nay, and we can.
So
Give
we're
you
just
more.
gonna get materials to review prior to the meeting and then discuss it, or?
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm not sure whether he's even got materials. I think I read it just kind of, he's just looking to say, would we support that kind of process if he was gonna, and would we be interested at the end when he comes up with some kind of report?
Oh, okay, so we're,
We could
Okay.
ask him to submit a proposal, and it would be a good exercise for him.
I'm guessing he's probably got April, May, he's probably got a couple.
Yeah, it should, I'm guessing it will be due by May.
He should get a friend to do one on moose.
And spending as much time as I do up in Nelson, I know what it's like to, have to look out the door before you walk out, because there possibly could be a bear standing right there.
Whoa.
having had that happen.
I have to go, you guys. I have a meeting at 2
Okay.
that I am spearheading.
Okay,
So-
thank you so much.
Yeah, no, it's just first.
Great help.
That's-
Yeah.
Yeah, we will.
Thanks.
And just a reminder, guys, Sam has everything that you email her on that web link.
Yeah.
So please check it before you email and be like, I never got this. Not saying anybody did that. I just know it's a new process
Okay,
and I forget processes. I'm like, oh yeah, we're doing that now.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks. Okay, well, we're just about out of time here, so is there anything else, or I think there's another meeting right after this, isn't there, Sam? I guess it's the bed meeting?
I don't think
Or
so.
is it the rec meeting?
I'm not sure what it is. I just know we gotta get out of here too.
are we done?
Yep, we're done.
Okay,
I'd entertain a
Right.
motion.
Good meeting. I so move that we adjourn.
Moved and second. And it's
aye,
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
aye,
158.
All
all right, good. That was a
Thank
good
you,
meeting.
everyone.